Well, in our newest segment now, Two Americas, our goal here is to introduce you to people and issues that have not dominated the headlines, but they still deserve your attention.
They absolutely do. In tonight's Two Americas report, ABC 15 investigator Courtney Holmes looks at this growing number of grandparents raising their grandchildren and why help in this case is so hard to find.
Come on.
It's that time of day between homework and dinner.
Dago, you're on my side.
When kids get to hang outside and just be kids. It's something these four siblings and their grandmother, Carmelita de la Rosa, don't take for granted. In January, an aunt who adopted them 7 years ago passed away. The options? Live with a relative or go back to the foster care system where they would likely be separated.
I knew what I had to do. I had to step up and get these kids.
And she did.
They've been abused before, and I don't want that for them again, because that's very heartbreaking.
A court granted her guardianship for 16-year-old Francisco, 15-year-old Eddie, 13-year-old Santiago, and 12-year-old Valerie.
These are my babies.
And she says she's happy to do it, but it's been tough.
I get tired. I still got to do what I got to do. I don't want them to go back into the system.
This summer, the five of them moved in with a relative while looking for a place big enough that they can afford. Because while her expenses have gone up,
they're expensive, their clothes, shoes,
her income has not.
I'm just barely making it. And can you imagine if I wasn't working? I wouldn't be able to do it.
There are no supports available to those families in Arizona.
Molly Dunn is with Children's Action Alliance, which advocates for issues affecting kids. She says there are about 54,000 Arizona children being raised by their grandparents in what's called informal kinship placements. That means the Department of Child Safety didn't have to place them, so they don't qualify for help.
Nationally, those informal kinship caregivers save the country $4 billion a year because they're stepping in so that Child Protective Services doesn't have to.
In more than 6,700 formal kinship cases, DCS is involved. Those children are entitled to about $240 per month per child.
But if any of those children had gone to live with a stranger who's a licensed foster, on average, they'd be entitled to $640 a month, mental health supports, and everything else that foster children are entitled to. Advocates say that's unfair.
And it's the only way Barbara Covey could get all the help her three grandchildren needed.
You're trying to navigate the system and the people, and you're getting a lot of no's.
She and her husband have had granddaughter Emma and her two siblings since 2014. And she says the process for foster licensing is too burdensome for relatives who already have the children. Months of training, inspections, even renovations.
We had to build a room, so the only room we had left in our house was our dining room.
And she knows a lot of grandparents don't have that kind of time or money, and they're struggling.
And this is why I speak out.
Research shows kinship parents are twice as likely to be living in poverty as parents in the general population. So she and 15-year-old Emma spend a lot of time advocating at the Capitol with Arizona grandparent ambassadors. This past session, two bills that would have increased monthly payments and at least included some money for families like Carmelita's were widely supported. Neither became law.
We're not being heard and we're not being seen, but it's a huge inequity. We just need fairness.
They'll be back next year. In the meantime, Carmelita and the kids are moving forward and soon into their own apartment.
By November the 1st, and we're supposed to be moving in. It's a 3-bedroom.
A stable place to call home while she works everything else out.
Every morning I pray, and he gives me the strength. I say, God, bless me with wisdom, not patience, because I don't want the patience, but with the wisdom. And so I just take it one day at a time.
Courtney Holmes, ABC 15, Arizona.
Yeah, that's all you can do.